Previously, on Alignment May Vary.
The villages that get attacked are left utterly devastated. They describe burnt-out husks of homes, bodies strewn everywhere. Oh, and tracks. Tracks that look like bony feet.
Goblins! There are goblins in the woods!
Listen, little creature. Tell us why you're wearing those bones, or I'll smash yours to splinters.
Ixis, tell us to come this way. Tell us to where are the bones. You want us attack the island village. Night after this one, minute clicks of the clock.
It is not undead attacking the villages. It is goblins and kobolds, and they are being led by someone powerful named Isaacs.
If you're heading for the island, be careful. It is not a safe place for outsiders.
Forcing me to contemplate my various moral choices.
Hey, Shando, how long have we been walking now?
You asked that 5 minutes ago.
Well, how long had it been then?
2 hours. You are not allowed to ask again for another 2 hours.
These mosquitoes. Man, if we're still in this swamp in 2 more hours, I'm gonna set it on fire.
Suddenly, the thick morass of half-sunken trees and broken bracken opens up in front of them into a long, low valley, mired in mud and bogs. Shando checks the position of the sun, judges it to still be the direction they need to go in, and pushes onward. Deimos and Karina dutifully following, though unhappily. Soon they are waist deep in muck.
Watch your step here. There may be hidden sinkholes.
This whole place is one big sinkhole.
Every time I lay my foot down, it's like the swamp takes a shit in my face. Is there really no other way we can do this?
No, I don't want to change direction. If we go the wrong way, we could end up following a finger of the swamp for ages, all the way up the coast.
Yeah, hate to break it to you, buddy, but it feels like that's exactly what we've been doing.
Their conversation is interrupted suddenly with a loud splash as something huge rears its head from the murky swamp just behind Deimos.
Deimos, behind you! It's a huge serpent!
Deimos spins around to face it, but his foot catches on a root buried under the swamp.
Whoops.
He falls down backwards, spluttering and splashing in the toxic-smelling sludge.
It's going to strike!
The creature hisses, and then its head darts forward. It wraps its coils around Deimos and squeezes the young man, gasping for air as his ribs are crushed.
It's got me.
Keep fighting, Deimos! I'll break its hold on you.
And I'll plant an arrow in its eye.
Soon, several shafts are sticking out from the creature's body, but it seems to ignore them, pulling Deimos back through the swamp with it.
Oh, guys, don't let it take me!
Shando leaps past him, catching the serpent by its jaws, and then slamming them down into the swamp in a show of extreme strength. As chance would have it, he brings its head down upon a protruding log, which pierces the creature's jaw and drives deep into its brain, killing it. Deimos is thrown 20 feet into a thick pool of mud.
This is by far the worst adventure we've been on. Oh, I hate this place. I don't want to do this anymore.
Here, let's get you up. Look, I can see more green just past this rise. That's a good sign. We're coming to the end of the swamp.
Shando is not wrong. It is not long before the companions finally exit the foul-smelling swamp and find themselves back on dry land. Soon the dirt resolves itself into a road, which winds its way down to a small boathouse and dock. A small, man-powered ferry is set against the shore, and the ferryman can be heard singing from within the boathouse. There was an old man who used to be chief, with a member so big you had to see to believe. Far and wide all the lasses did travel, yet when they got close, their skirts did unravel.
Oh, guys, do you smell that?
It's green leaf, and it smells awful. I really don't know why you humans put that stuff in your mouth.
This must be Warsh then. Let's see if he'll take us to that island. Hello there.
Hello yourselves, and mind who you be talking to, outsider. You've interrupted me in the middle of my song.
By all means. Go ahead and finish.
Too late for that. Can't remember what I was singing.
When they got close, their skirts did unravel. It sounds like quite the song, and I'm eager to hear the rest.
I'm sure you are, you dirty-minded outsider. Huh. You all look like you took a crap and rolled around in it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We've had a difficult journey.
And life is going to get harder still. Mark my words, the day is not far now when the sea will rise up again and climb its due. You outsiders will be swimming with the fishes and crabs for your sins. The reckoning is coming.
Well, until that happens, perhaps we could have the use of your services.
The old man squints with his one good eye at Karina for a long moment, studying her tiefling features, the purple skin, the curved horns, the long tail. Another one of you. You're here to join your brother.
Brother? I don't have a brother.
Don't lie. I know your kind are all related.
You're saying there's another tiefling on the island?
Oh, yes. Our very own prophet. Soon his powers will be ours forever.
How do you make a prophet's powers your own?
Come and join us and you'll find out. 3 gold apiece to get a bite out of this mystery. Not a bad price, eh? The companions pay up and board the ferry, which is really not much more than a rowboat. But Warsh oars it through the water with powerfully muscled arms. Oh, the maiden skirts were lifted high, but all I could see with my little eye was a pearl at the center of her clam. So am I
the only one here who feels like this is going to end with us tied to a stake and roasting slowly over a large fire?
Devils don't burn easily. We need to figure out what this island has to do with those attacks. And I want to meet this prophet.
I don't like what he said about making the prophet's powers their own.
Maybe he was just trying to scare us.
Stop your jabbering, outsiders, and take a gander off that-a-ways. You'll get your first glimpse of our paradise. The storm is truly setting in as the adventurers catch their first glimpse of the island. It is small, maybe 2 miles wide and 3 deep, most of it covered in heavy forest. Warsh directs the boat to the northwestern side of the island, and as they come around its bend into a crescent-shaped bay, they see people along the shore, pulling in boats from the stormy sea.
Shando, is it just me, or do they all look similar? Like cousins?
More than that. They all look like brothers and sisters, like younger versions of Warsh.
Warsh directs the boat to the shore, and the men, all of them burly, all of them with wispy beards and broad faces, run forward to help him pull the boat up on the beach. Welcome to the island. We're gonna be stuck with you overnight, I think. We can't make the trip back out again till this storm passes. Maybe I should have mentioned that back on shore, eh? Now you'll have to stay for dinner. Several of the islanders look up and crowd around the 3.
Look, everyone! It's outside!
You know, got in a real strange speak of the tongue, mightn't you not? Who you being?
Me being Shando. And this is Deimos, and that's Karina.
Look at this one, with the tail and the horns. She be seeming just like a prophet, or one of the full-on people from under the sea.
I don't really... Is she talking about me?
If you really want to know, I can dive into her mind and pull out her true intentions.
That doesn't seem like a good idea. Remember last time with Yip?
What about Yip?
I have no idea what Shando's talking about.
Tell us stories of on the outside, of your stranger ways of living. Is that true? You pay sitting down?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave this conversation for you two and find somewhere to bathe. I'm pretty over-smelling like a shambling mound.
I'm going to go find that prophet.
Okay, what am I supposed to do?
Talk to these people. Maybe you can befriend them and learn something.
With that, Deimos and Karina head off in opposite directions, and Shando is left surrounded by a number of eager villagers who move forward to touch his skin, as if he is a strange relic from the outside.
So, have you ever heard the one about the cleric? the harper, and the cockatrice?
We leave Shando to his attempts at entertainment and follow Karina through the village. The villagers stare at her as she goes by. This Karina is used to. A tiefling is never welcome, no matter where she goes. But these people do not seem scared of her, nor are they making the usual signs of warding against evil. Their eyes follow her with the look a cat gives a flying bird. She does not like that look, and she hurries on her way.
I've been to some strange places in my time, but this one beats them all. Now, where is that prophet?
In a broken-down hovel on the edge of the village, Karina finds what she seeks. In a dark room where a single candle burns, the tiefling prophet sits alone, reading by, or maybe despite, its dim light. He turns, and Karina sees he has 4 eyes, the white pupils like will-o-wisps in the dark.
Another tiefling! It has been a long time since I've seen one of our kind, and I never would have expected to meet one of the family here.
Family? I don't have a family.
A figure of speech. To me, all of the tieflings are of one family. For otherwise, how are we to survive when all the world is against us?
The tiefling rises from his chair, unfolding his long limbs. He is a curious creature, black-skinned, tall and lanky, with spindly arms that seem long enough to be legs.
And how long have you been here on the island?
I just arrived.
Did you? And what brings you here? Have you come to aid me in my endeavors?
No, probably not. What endeavors are those?
The betterment of these poor people, of course. I use my gift, the power of second sight, to give them peace of mind against the coming trials and tribulations.
What trials and tribulations could these people possibly be facing?
There is a storm coming, a storm that will sweep away the mainland to leave only the worthy chosen. The rebuilding of the world will be in their hands. I can see that you don't believe me.
I'm not much for fortune-telling.
Ah, but it's not mere fortune-telling. This is my gift. Don't you have a gift? All of us tieflings do.
Gift? No. Not unless you count getting into situations I'd rather not be in. I have a knack for that.
Maybe your gift simply hasn't awoken yet. You'll know when it does.
Karina falls silent as she remembers the spell that bubbled up from inside of her while fighting the goblins.
Oh, how rude of me! I never even gave my name. I'm Verrick, son of Seth. And you are?
Karina. I don't know whose daughter I am.
Sadly, that's not uncommon amongst our kind. Sometimes I think it would be better if I were an orphan. My father was... well, let's just say we can't be held responsible for the sins of our parents. I have taken the gifts given by them, at least, and put them to good use, serving the little people here.
Well, you've chosen a terrible time to serve. This place is about to be attacked by someone called the Red Hand.
Whoa! Slow down. Who is going to what now?
A raid by kobolds, possibly bugbears and goblins as well. They serve something or someone called the Red Hand. We don't know what else. We don't know why. But it is supposed to happen tonight.
You need to work on your technique.
What?
Listen, I know what you're doing, but this village is already claimed.
What are you talking about?
Gonna make me come right out and say it, aren't you? Okay, listen. I confess, from one con artist to another, I'm not a prophet. But I've been at this a long time. If you want to make friends, you do it by making people feel happy and calm, not by spreading tales of terror. That's how you get run out of a joint.
Listen to me. An attack is coming. If these people trust you, then you need to let them know the danger. Get them organized in defense. Are you going to help or not?
Maybe you haven't noticed, but these people are cautious. They don't like outsiders. It's taken me half a month to gain their trust. I've got a good thing going here. Food, shelter, peace of mind. I get to be the hero for once. That's not something us tieflings get to do very often. Don't go messing that up for me. I'll be willing to share the space. It's a big island after all. But you're going to have to take my lead.
Are you sure you're so safe here? The villagers keep talking. They say they want your power and intend to get it.
I'm not afraid of a bunch of backwood bumpkins. They spook easy. Big words frighten them. Lightning frightens them. Hell, a fart frightens them. Then they all run off into the woods.
What's in the woods?
They're gods, supposedly. I've never seen them.
So you won't help me?
Help you spread fear and cause a panic? No, I'm sorry, sister. Either join me or go away. But I'm not going to give up free room and board so easily.
Then you're useless to me.
Suit yourself.
Karina storms away from the hovel, frustration blinding her to where she is going.
And this is why I don't hang out with other tieflings.
Around Karina, a storm is brewing. The wind is like a hand at her back, moving her along, and flecks of rain are starting to splatter against her face. Suddenly, Karina finds herself on the edge of a vast wood. A path leads inside the dark forest, and the trees sway in a growing wind, as if beckoning her in. Then, a voice startles her.
Hey, Karina, wait up!
Deimos is fast approaching from the edge of the village. He is dripping wet and running a hand through his thick hair. He stops and grimaces suddenly, plucking a fish head from amidst his hair and tossing it aside.
What in the nine hells happened to you?
Yeah, believe it or not, I finally found a place to bathe. Except no one told me that that's also where they dump all their fish parts. It was like a horror show, Karina. I'm gonna have nightmares about this bath. When I finally broke free of the slurry, I even had fish guts stuck into the inside of my...
Really? I don't need to hear it.
Yeah, okay. Well, did you end up finding the prophet?
No. Yes. He's not a prophet, just a con artist. But he did say something interesting about the villagers and their gods. And it may have to do with these woods. Want to check it out?
Oh, Karina, a nature hike in a storm. Are you asking me out on a date?
People tend to let nature grow around their secrets. Nothing hides the past better than trees and overgrown grass.
The two head into the woods. The day is dark, and growing ever darker as the storm approaches. On top of that, there is something unsettling about the forest. It takes them a while to recognize it for what it is.
Karina, do you hear that?
There's no birds here.
Yeah, no animals at all. It's just dead quiet.
Do you see that over there? Down in the ravine?
Yeah, it looks like a cave.
It is indeed a cave, hidden at the bottom of a ravine that would be easy to miss if not for Karina's naturally sharp eyes. The two slide carefully down the ravine and linger outside the cave entrance. Thunder rumbles overhead, and the rain begins to come down in a constant patter.
You don't want us to go in that cave, do you?
It's the perfect place to hide a secret.
Yeah, sure. Or a bear.
You're not scared, are you?
Look, let's be honest here. A bear in that cave is probably the best case scenario. With our luck, there's a dragon, or a wraith, or an undead ooth out for revenge.
Then stay out here and keep guard.
Karina disappears inside the cave. Deimos hesitates, but the woods around him suddenly seem menacing and grim, and he soon ducks inside the cave as well.
Hey, Karina, wait up. I'm right behind you. I was just joking about that bear. Wait up.
Deimos stumbles along blindly for a few moments before a dim blue light in the distance catches his eye. He makes for it and emerges into a small round room. 3 black pedestals stand in the center of it. Karina is in front of the leftmost one, examining a red book that is open upon it. There is an eerie blue light illuminating the inside of the room, emanating from candles set in niches in the walls, all of them burning a fierce blue flame.
Oh yeah, this is much better than a bear.
Deimos, look at this. It's a book of ritual spells. It's written in Infernal, the language of devils.
Can you read it? What does it say?
It talks about raising a temple from the sea, where the jade statue of the Ancient One will be kept.
Oh, that's nice. Well, maybe don't touch the books of ultimate evil, okay?
Don't you get it? The statue you took. That temple. This must be what the Red Hand has been searching for up the coast. Why else attack all these little hamlets and hovels? They must have gotten wind that somewhere out here was an ancient treasure. So they dress up their kobolds and stage these undead attacks to make it seem like rumor, giving them more time to search. It all connects.
Yeah, you're right, it does. I guess we can leave the cave now.
Wait, there's more.
She moves to the second pedestal, where a thinner, brown book sits.
This one isn't the same. It's a journal written in common. It's about the island. Look at this. The last entry is set 60 years ago.
Despite his fears, Deimos is curious enough to stand next to Karina and read over her shoulder. The book belonged to a crewman on a pirate ship named the Audacity. The story he tells is one of terror.
Here is set the tale of Reefstar Testain the Terrible, pirate scourge of the Moonsea, and of the desperate and unfortunate men that followed him aboard his ship, the Audacity. We were never specially fortunate, though true enough it could be said that the Audacity took enough loot to keep us alive, and never drew enough attention to get us killed.
Oh, I really do love pirate stories.
That all changed with the curse. A curse that has condemned my comrades to the hells forever.
Never mind.
It began when we took a fat merchant vessel loaded with booty. It belonged to the Lord's Alliance, and we knew they would be coming soon to seek revenge. We sought a refuge where we might hide from the authorities while counting our loot. A fortune in gold, gems, works of art, and books of lore, including one that Testain himself took. A red book which spoke of treasures deep under the sea that could be raised with the right words and incantations.
Do you think these villagers used this book he's talking about to raise that temple we found?
Hold on, there's more.
In Stormy Bay, there is a small forested isle that has been home to generations of fisherfolk. The unnamed island was the perfect place to hide out. Coming ashore, we made quick work of subduing the town. Testain, drunk on our recent successes, declared himself king of the island and the fisherfolk his subjects. Even then, we might have been tolerated, except that Testain set his eye on their holy man's daughter. A lovely lass she was, tall and skinny, with hair as dark as a brewing storm. That were a terrible night. We could all hear the cries of the lass, and there was no mistaking any of them for pleasure. Her father, Warsh, was an awful thing to behold. His eyes held fire that could keep a man's bones warm, or burn a ship to cinders. He cursed us, and called upon a god none of us had ever heard tell of, to strike us down. And the god answered.
Or maybe the god gave him cookies?
I'm trying to read. Quiet.
In the middle of the night, a storm rose up, and nowhere on the island was safe from its wrath. From the sea, fell creatures walked ashore that had not felt the ground of earth in centuries. The crew, we all drew our blades, but it was of no use. The creatures fell upon us, and the last I saw of my mates, they were being dragged screaming into the ocean, which had turned fiery red and full of visions of a place far from this plane. They were dragged to hell, slavers made slaves. This cave is to be my tomb. I can hear the voices of the villagers, searching for fresh meat, being led by something that sounds like nothing human. I only pray the fever takes me before they do.
Lovely. Now can we leave, please?
Karina turns now to the final pedestal, where a single scroll lies, black ink on thick parchment. She holds it up and examines its runic text, then drops it in disgust, clearly shaken by what she read there.
What'd you find, Karina? What did that say?
It's a contract. The villagers, Old Man Warsh, he made a deal with a fiend over 60 years ago to punish the murderers of his daughter. The fiend dragged the pirates to hell, and in return the villagers worship it. They eat people in its name, sustaining it with the blood of outsiders, and in return it continues to hold their enemies.
You know, I can't help but think that Shando would probably make a pretty good meal. As his friends, we probably should go warn him.
Before they can move, the candles suddenly flare a bright red, and an ancient Dwemer descends upon the cavern. Both Deimos and Karina must fight off a magical fear, compelling them to flee from the cave. Deimos rolls a 16 and manages to shake off the feeling. But Karina, she rolls a 2, and so she bolts like a startled deer, fleeing from the cave while Deimos calls out after her.
Ah, damn it, why do you keep leaving me alone in creepy places?
Karina, pushed by the spell's power, flees blindly until she bursts from the cave and into the rain and cold. The light is failing, and lightning arcs across the sky. Something is coming. She can feel it. She peers at the ravine around her, and then, in the next flash of lightning, she sees movement. It is humanoid in shape, except for its hands, which end in long claws. It reaches out for her, and before she can react, it shoves her aside violently, dashing her head against a rock. Then it pushes past her into the darkness of the cave.
Deimos! Run!
Deimos, meanwhile, is wandering in the darkness of the cave, trying to find his way out.
First fish heads, and now I'm stumbling around in the dark. At least it's better than that swamp. I take it back. This is the worst adventure I've been on.
The thing that attacked Karina barrels into Deimos in the dark, latching onto him in a fury of claws and fangs, and only his sudden alertness saves him. Instead of clamping its jaws around his neck, the creature latches onto his ear. There is a horrible pain, and the sound of flesh tearing.
Ah, my ear!
There is a twang of bowstring, and an arrow slides through the creature's throat. Deimos feels the arrow's point touching his cheek, a thin dot of blood marking its halt. The creature shivers in his arms, and then vomits pus and blood all over him before crumbling away into ash.
I hate this. I hate this so much.
Deimos! Are you alive? We need to get out of here. I don't think we were supposed to kill that thing.
Not supposed to kill that thing. That thing just bit my ear off.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but that's probably going to leave a scar.
Oh, painkillers first. Remorse and regret later. Give me a potion, please, quick, before I pass out.
Meanwhile, Shando has had no luck convincing anyone there will be an attack this night. So he begins digging his own defenses. Pit traps all around the beach. Warsh watches him with an expression somewhere between amusement and annoyance.
All the ladies in town, they all had their fans, but none as big as this old man. What you doing there, you great big lummox? You done ruining my pretty beach yet?
Few people won't lift a finger to save yourselves, then I'm gonna have to do it myself.
No harm can ever come to this island, outsider, and the people know it.
A fine superstition, but not one that will keep you alive.
Oh, it's kept us alive for far longer than you might think, outsider.
Suddenly, there is a knife in Warsh's hand, a long, deadly thing used to slice the guts out of fish. And all around Shando, villagers are suddenly approaching. 10, then 15 shamble up to stand around him in a circle. They begin to pull out knives of their own.
I was going to wait until nightfall, but I think we can start the feast early, without angering the Great One.
Back away. I don't want to hurt you.
But before anyone can move, Warsh suddenly drops the knife and clutches his chest, groaning as he grinds his teeth together. His skin turns deathly pale, almost a bright white.
No! What have you done, you outsider? You've killed our familiar. The contract is broken. The dead will rise again and swarm this island.
Warsh's eyes roll back in his head and he falls dead at Shando's feet. The villagers begin to wail and fall back, sobbing uncontrollably while Shando looks on, confused and horrified. Then an arrow whizzes through the air and embeds itself in the chest of a villager. Shando turns and sees skeletal shapes, glowing with unnatural power, slinking through the woods and holding short bows.
God save us all! The undead! They've risen from the sea as promised by the contract!
Not undead. Kobolds in disguise, and led by a hobgoblin warrior.
The warrior strides through the trees. He is nearly 7 feet tall, muscular even for his kind, and his fangs are bared and glint with gold, where the broken ones have been mended.
Prepare yourself, for on this night you face a living nightmare, for I am...
Dead in a spike trap.
The kobolds hesitate at the sudden disappearance of their leader.
And now, everyone, I'd like you to meet a friend of mine. He goes by the name of...
We leave Shando for the moment and return to Karina and Deimos. The two of them race through the woods as the sky above them darkens with storm and rain begins to fall heavily, churning the ground around them into mud. They are halfway to the village when a dark shape moves into view in front of them. Deimos immediately starts preparing a psychic blast while Karina knocks an arrow to her bow. The figure holds up his hands and strides forward.
My plans are ruined. Everything's gone to hell down in the village. There's raiders landing at the docks. Bands of monsters.
The attack! It's early!
This is your fault. You led these monsters here.
You're an idiot. Why would I do that?
It's a classic con. You intend to save the villagers from the monsters. Let yourself be labeled a hero. You can't have my hut. It's mine.
I don't want your damn hut. I just want to survive this and put an end to these creatures.
Verrick, did you see Shando? You know him. He's huge, carries a mask everywhere.
Your friend? I saw him down by the shore. He's fighting the raiders there.
Then we need to go to him.
Wait. Listen, I have some supplies hidden at the back of the island, just in case of an emergency. Help me reach them. I can't do it alone. There's a group of raiders who landed over there.
What sort of supplies?
I'm not a stranger to a blade. I just thought it was best that I didn't carry one around while I was here. But if you help me get to my weapons, we could work together.
Yeah, that sounds like a sensible plan. Karina, you go fight those raiders with Shando. I'll go with Verrick and take care of this other group.
Come back in one piece.
Deimos grins back wildly, the blood still wet and shiny where his ear used to be.
Too late for that.
Then Deimos and Verrick turn towards the back of the island, and Karina races on towards the beach, where she hopes to find Shando. The storm is everywhere. Water rushes into her face with every whim of the wind, and it feels as though nature herself is pushing Karina back with every step, her heavy hand pressed against Karina's chest and giving none too subtle shoves every moment.
Even with dark vision, it's hard to see through this mess. I could walk within 10 feet of a hobgoblin and not see it.
She isn't wrong. From behind a tree to Karina's left, a large figure emerges. The figure approaches from behind, and too late, Karina spins around to see herself confronted by...
Hello, Devil Lady. It is I, El Ultimo Santo Guerrero. Last we fought together, I saw in you the marks of a true hero. Could it be that glory has once again chosen the path that our feet should tread? To wade through villains, these cowardly kobolds, till all who seek evil lay dead?
How many are left out there?
Less than there were. But there is strange sorcery afoot here, fire that will not burn out. See there!
Ahead, there is a burst of light as something flares into flame through the trees. For a brief moment, Karina sees what looks like a small glowing skeleton holding a ball of flame. Then the flame launches through the air and bursts into fire on the ground near to her and Shando.
I think it's alchemical fire. It's the only thing that could burn in this weather. But I think I can use it to our advantage. Shando, I have an idea. Stay here and hold them off. I'll support you from the trees.
Strike from the shadows, O horned and tailed one. Together, we shall be the tag team of terror!
Karina falls back into the trees, merging with the darkness so completely it seems she just disappears. But while the kobolds can't see her, she can see them perfectly, framed by the wide fire that is burning at Shando's feet. Shando himself is like a demon god, illuminated by the flames, the bright red light turning his mask a bloody color through which his eyes and teeth glint in a mad smile.
Those who would face me, step into the light. Come now, or else to find you, I will beat back the very shadows of the night.
5 kobolds, emboldened by their superior numbers, run into the light of the fire and flank Shando. Shando points at one.
Beware, evildoer, for even the meager finger of El Ultimo Santo is enough to strike one such as you down.
The kobold snickers. But then suddenly an arrow is sprouting from its chest.
Ha ha! And now you! Terrible strike of the secret devil companion!
He points at another, and from her place in the woods, Karina takes quick aim and fires again. Another kobold falls backwards into the alchemical fire and is consumed by the flames as they flare up around it. The other 3 kobolds leap as one then, and even Karina cannot fire that fast. But something within her is awakened, some deeper power. Spreading her arms wide, she chants words that bubble up from dark corridors in her mind.
Fina Nocturne Orpheus!
And a spell of deep sleep is cast over the remaining kobolds who crash to the ground, magically forced into unconsciousness. Karina breathes a sigh of relief and steps out from behind the tree she'd been using as cover, and gasps as a hairy hand clasps around her throat. Shando does not know what has befallen his companion and crashes through the woods like a titan.
Cowards! Will not a one of you stand and face glory?
In answer, another fireball flies through the darkness at him, misses his head, and smashes against a tree behind him. Shando peers out into the woods and sees the slightly glowing skeleton who threw the fire.
Treacherous dog! Your tricks do not scare me. I, Eduardo, El Ultimo Santo Guerrero, have seen your true face. I know that under the bones and the paint lurks the wily, unworthy heart of a kobold.
Even as the kobold screeches and fumbles with trying to light another of his fire flasks, Shando reaches out and grabs his tiny head, lifting the creature off its feet and slamming it into a tree trunk.
Your demise tonight belongs to El Ultimo, son!
Shando rips off the mask.
Okay, that's enough Eduardo for now. I've got to maintain control, or I might not be able to come back. Let's take a look at what we have here. These flasks of fire might just come in handy. The intruders must have gotten here by boat, so maybe it's time to take the fire back to them.
Meanwhile, Verrick and Deimos have made their way towards the back of the island, eventually coming to the ruined hovel that Verrick made his quarters. They pause here, seeing 2 kobolds with drawn daggers slinking through the storm on the path up ahead.
Okay, listen, I've got the ability to take these 2 out without them even noticing us. I'll give the signal and you just...
Verrick leans close to Deimos and puts a knife against his back. The tiefling half-demon smiles at his look of surprise.
I know Karina didn't bring these monsters. That's because I did.
Verrick whistles, a high, piercing note. The kobolds turn and make their way towards them, followed by a hobgoblin. The hobgoblin sets the blade of his longsword against Deimos' neck and growls.
You can't hope to win against us, boy. We are the Red Hand. From the east we come, on a holy mission from our god, seeking the power of the undersea temple. But before we could get to it, someone else raided its depths and took a jade statue from it. I think you might know who that is.
Deimos looks from the hobgoblin's stern face, the Verrick sneer at his shoulder, the tiefling's 4 eyes glowing white in the dark night. He also notes the 3 kobolds closing in on him from all sides.
Killing people is my gift, so don't do anything stupid.
Really? Because stupid is my gift.
Invisible hands shove Verrick and the hobgoblin away and lift Deimos straight up into the air in a massive leap out of the circle of bewildered foes, and he lands on the ruined roof of the hovel. A sharp pain on his neck draws his hand to it, and the fingers come away bloody. A nick, nothing more, from the hobgoblin's blade as Deimos leapt, but a sign of how close he came to death.
Where did he go? Did any of you see where he went? He knows where the statue is. We need to find him, or Isaacs will have all our heads.
Just then, another kobold rushes out of the woods and excitedly begins yammering to Verrick.
The big man burning our boats. He's destroyed the main attack force. He's really loud and scary.
Then all of you head back for the beach. Stop the big man. He must be injured after such a fight. I'll keep searching the woods for the other one.
Meanwhile, Shando is down at the beach, admiring his handiwork. One of 4 longboats the monsters used to get to the island is already ablaze from the kobold's alchemist fire. Its light stretches out across the stormy Moonsea. Shando huffs as he finishes pulling another longboat ashore and wipes a line of sweat and rain from his brow. He rummages in the pack he took from the kobold alchemist and pulls another fire flask from the bag.
Put that down slowly if you value their lives.
Shando turns and sees the hobgoblin who fell into his pit trap earlier. He is bleeding from several wounds, and one of Shando's spikes is still embedded in his side. But he holds Karina in a chokehold, a sharp dagger set against her neck. And standing nearby is a kobold gripping a young villager, a girl no more than 7 years old. Her eyes are wide with fear as the kobold wraps a clawed hand around her tiny neck.
Walk into the woods. They live. Hesitate. They die.
I shouldn't care about these people. They were going to eat me after all. But this child has no part of that. If you dare to hurt her...
Stop. Don't move closer. To the woods, I said.
No. I make the rules here. You kill them, I'll break you. You leave them here, and I'll let you go.
The hobgoblin doesn't know how to respond to that. His eyes don't leave Shando, not blinking even when the rainwater that is collected in his thick hair drips down into them.
This is your last chance.
With a sudden movement, the hobgoblin shoves Karina towards Shando. Then the hobgoblin snatches the little girl away from the kobold. She kicks and screams for a moment, but a snarl from the beast silences her. Shando barely has time to lower Karina softly to the ground before the hobgoblin is rushing to a longboat, throwing himself and the girl in and rowing away from the shore. Meanwhile, the kobold, left behind, looks at Shando and sees his eyes.
Leave! Now!
The kobold abides, shrieking in terror and running off into the woods. A month from now, the remaining folk mistake him for the devil Karina and Deimos slew, and they begin worshipping him by leaving him chickens, goat meat, and other offerings. And then well, no, that is another tale, and not one we have time to tell here. Back on the beach, Shando is pulling Karina to her feet.
I suppose that it's nice to not be saving your hide for a change.
Ha! You owe me for this one.
Suddenly, another hobgoblin bursts from the woods, followed by 3 kobolds, all the monsters that had been with Verrick. The 2 are outnumbered, but suddenly, all of the monsters grab their heads and fall to their knees, howling in pain.
Everyone, attack now.
Shando wastes no time, rushing forward to dispatch his enemies before they can recover. The kobolds go down to his assault, but the hobgoblin gets up, faster than Shando thought he would. He leaps to his feet, rushing at Shando's back, swinging his long sword in an arc. Shando knows this is the end. And then there is an arrow sprouting from the hobgoblin's chest, and he is spinning wildly off course, his blow cutting nothing but air. Shando turns to Karina, who is lowering her bow.
I don't like to be in anyone's debt.
Well, that's a shame, because I think I just saved both your tails, literally in your case, Karina.
Deimos emerges from the woods as he speaks.
What the hell happened to your ear?
That's a story for another time in a warmer place with a lot more beer in front of me. As a matter of fact, I have this lifelong dream of finding a nice inn and never leaving it. Do you think you could help me realize this dream when we get the hell out of here?
No, we can't.
Shando turning down alcohol? The world is coming to an end.
I have to go out there.
Shando points to the roiling sea, rocking and rising like a dancer jumping to the pounding of a drum.
Oh, right, into the giant hellstorm. Why?
Somewhere out there is the ship all these monsters came from. Storm, the ship that sank ours on the Moonsea.
I don't know, Shando. Man, we killed most of the enemy tonight. Haven't we already done what we came for?
No. The hobgoblins took a child of that ship. She's scared. She's alone. She thinks no one's coming for her. But that's not true. I won't let it be true.
Karina, what do you think? This isn't our fight, is it?
Everything that's happened up until now, it all seemed like such an inconvenience.
Fate puts you where you need to be.
Fate had nothing to do with it. I wasn't on that prison ship by accident. I let myself get caught so that I could go across the Moonsea and reach Ottoman Stock. I had intended to cut the captain's throat near the shore, sink the ship, and swim for it, letting the rest of you fend for yourselves, or drown. I didn't care. This was never my fight, Deimos. But I will fight it with you now.
Well, if the two of you are going to be crazy, I'm not going to be the one left out. I'll out-crazy the both of you. Let's race to the island, big guy.
Not this time. Let's take one of the boats.
And so the three friends launch one of the boats and row out towards the distant ship, braving the sea to reach the storm. Alignment May Vary would not be possible without the collaborative effort of many dedicated friends. The main team is comprised of Jonathan Stark, who does the narration, and some of the NPCs, Morganite, who plays Karina, Tyler Gibson, who plays Shando, and El Ultimo Santo, and Kayvon Barami, who plays Deimos. Our guest voices this episode were Aubrey Stark, who provided the voices of some of the villagers, Eric Stalker, who read the Pirate's Journal, and Ryan Malone, who played the false prophet, Verrick. We thank you for listening. If you would like to support our project, please follow us on Facebook or become a patron on Patreon. You can email us at alignmentmayvary@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at AMV Podcast. Until next time, may you savor your critical successes, learn from your critical failures, and above all, keep on rolling.
Deimos! Run!
Deimos! Me say Deimos!